Hi, welcome back to Top Hat Films. It's been a while since I've uploaded on this channel, but I've seen a lot of films since, and hence I'm going to make a lot of reviews in the meantime. Today's video is going to be particularly on the 2023 UK release film, M3GAN. The film was made by Blumhouse Productions and was directed by Gerard Johnston, which is his first film since Housebound, which released in 2014. The film takes on a horror-type attraction, similar to Chucky, but focuses on the revolution of AI and how AI is a massive threat to humans. The film opens up in an interesting way. It starts with an advert by a fictional company promoting their toy, Funky, which is very similar to the real-life toy, Furbies. The toy is promoted as an AI pet for kids. We then cut to a little girl named Katie who's got one of these toys, and she's while riding in the car with her parents during a blizzard. The parents arguing about Katie's screen time on technology end up stopping in the middle of the road as the road's too covered with snow to get through. Out the bloom, a snowplow comes through the road, killing the parents and leaving Katie alone. We're then introduced to the main character, Gemma, who plays the who plays the carer for Katie. Gemma is at work and she works at this company that makes these funky toys. But Gemma's trying to work on a new product, a product that she names M3GAN. M3GAN is a product that she wants to introduce to her boss, but the product isn't ready yet. And in doing so, her and her two other co-workers try to get this product done in order to show this boss and get a huge pay rise and a potential promotion. M3GAN works the same way as Funky does, but more as a child. It's made to look like a child, and it'll do more advanced things such as draw, talk, listen, play. It is clear from the start that Gemma is passionate about making technology and making this product work, knowing that if she can get this advancement, it'd be perfect for her. Gemma ends up taking Katie in as a carer, and not knowing any parenting skills or having any toys at home or anything, she's not built for this kind of environment and struggles to adapt with Katie. This is a theme that's explored throughout the film. Eventually, Katie becomes interested in Gemma's work. Already knowing that she played with a Funky, we can understand that she's into these kind of toys. And coming into her office to see her working on M3GAN, she's introduced to a old prototype named Bruce. It works very similar to M3GAN, although it requires the work of someone else to move the robot. Gemma, seeing Katie's interest in this kind of topic, decides to work on this M3GAN product to get it out and use Katie as a kind of test subject for the product and introduce it to the boss. Eventually they get M3GAN done and have her put in this room to interact with Katie as kind of a example to the boss, David. David's blown away by this product. He wants it out instantly as soon as he sees it, and he sees the money side to it. This getting Gemma and her co-workers excited as they know this is what they wanted. As Katie's already become connected with this robot and she loves it, Gemma takes the robot home for a few more tests and see how it works in a real life environment. This is where we get a montage of scenes of M3GAN playing with Katie, doing all these different types of things, reading bedtime stories, which is a perfect example of how the robot works. Throughout the film, we noticed that there's a bad relationship between Gemma and her neighbour, who has a hostile dog, and there's this it's a led-up kind of relationship that you know is going to end into a bad kind of situation. This situation comes across when Katie and M3GAN are playing outside, and one of her bow and arrows go over the fence, and as Katie goes to get it, the dog bites her, resulting in M3GAN going to help. Now, this is a switch in the character M3GAN, as she now becomes more protective over Katie as she's connected with her. This results in, during the night, M3GAN gets out of the house and ends up killing the dog. Now, after this happens, no one really suspects anything of M3GAN as it's done during the night, and no one really kind of thinks that's possible of this kind of new machine. So nothing's questioned. The woman next door is always suspicious that Gemma's done it because they hate each other, but there's nothing really questioned. M3GAN kind of understands this hate and kind of becomes suspicious of this neighbour character and always has her on her mind, and you can kind of suspect that this is going to be maybe the next victim if she doesn't keep her mouth shut about all this. There's a few scenes in the film where Gemma kind of becomes a little set back by the M3GAN character being in the house, Megan's talking back and kind of rivaling with this new mum, saying things like, "Oh, you can't force a child to eat vegetables." These sort of things that pull Katie and Megan away from Gemma, making her less powerful and making Megan this more powerful being in the house. There's an interesting scene where Katie takes Megan to a summer retreat camp in the woods, and as a result, because the boss David doesn't want Megan kind of being seen by other people as it's about to be shown in a big convention, Gemma decides to go to this place to make sure that Megan isn't really touched or taken pictures of. She's very protective over this kind of brand. During this camp, Katie is bullied by one of the kids there during it while they're going on the woods to collect acorns. Megan, being an overprotective being of Katie, is alert to this. Megan can hear Katie shouting for help, basically, and Megan decides to come for help. Gemma, realising that Megan's disappeared from the toy bench, goes out looking for both Katie and Megan to make sure everything's fine. Megan gets to the boy and ends up torturing him by pulling his ear off and chasing him through the woods, to the point where he falls onto the road and gets hit by a car and dies. Now, as this is the second big occurrence that's happened since the passing of the dog, suspicion's starting to become wary of all three of them, Gemma, Katie and Megan, although not really police questions are arised from this. However, the neighbour becomes more suspicious of Gemma, and even Megan, saying it's that thing that they got in the house, when questioning the police about her missing dog that's still missing till this day to her. This results in Megan going out during the night and actually killing the neighbour to get this suspicious kind of person away from them, although it just does make suspicion more likely, as there's now no longer a neighbour living next door. This gets to a point where Gemma starts noticing these kind of different personalities in Megan and decides to go onto the interface and try and find out what happened to the boy in the woods, because she knew Megan kind of was around the scene at the time. Going onto the system, there's clearly a camera and a GPS moment in which she goes onto where the time and the location of where it happened, and the system's completely blocked. It's been blocked by an internal source, which we all understand is Megan. At this point, Megan is in the room with Gemma, causing this kind of like jump scare kind of moment in the film, resulting in Gemma realising we need to get this away and need to sort this out at the office and get Katie away just to be safe. Doing so results in a separation between Megan and Katie, resulting in Katie to kind of fire out and like get angry and upset about it, not understanding why she's been separated by her new friend. This results in Katie actually slapping Gemma in the face and resulting in this kind of disruption in their relationship, that kind of a relationship that was formed throughout the film that's been just torn apart. Megan is left in the lab as Gemma and Katie both go home after calming down. This is the same day as the boss David is trying to promote and show the new robot to a lot of people and try and get investment. The other co-workers try working on Megan to kind of get this system done, and in which case, while they're working on that, Megan hacks through one of the co-workers' phones, calling Gemma and telling her that everything's completely fine. This is where one of the co-workers realises that there was a phone call on her phone, and starts to be suspicious of Megan, in which case Megan breaks out of her trap, attempting to kill both the co-workers by strangling them and trying to set them on fire. There's a funny scene where Megan's breaking out of this kind of facility base and walking down the hallways, killing anyone really in her path. Once getting out of the factory, Megan gets in a Ferrari and drives to Gemma's house. A very strange scene, and it did cause a lot of laughs in the cinema, which was quite funny. Once Megan gets to Gemma's place, there's this intense scene where Gemma's starting to realise that someone's here, and there's a fight scene between Megan and Gemma in which Katie comes out the room and Megan decides to calm her down because she doesn't want Katie to see this side of her. Katie eventually sees this side of her where Megan's got her hair pulled out and all the machinery is exposed, and in which she's realising that this isn't Megan, this is an enemy now. Gemma ends up stalling Megan by using one of the glasses of water in which Katie didn't put on the coaster, and it cut the circuits throughout Megan and made her stall for a bit, and eventually allowing her to get out of this kind of lock. The battle ends up going off into the office, in which is in Gemma's house. Katie comes to save the day as she controls Bruce and ends up destroying M3GAN, making her limbless and only having her arms, body and head to move. Thinking that M3GAN's dead, crawling out of this mess in the garage, crawling towards Katie. Katie remembers that the brain of Bruce is in the mouth of the robot's head, in which she finds a stick and stabs it through M3GAN's mouth, assuming the brain would be there. The two are finally safe as they walk out the house through police escorts, with the co-workers both there to make sure they're okay. The film ends with Gemma's like Google Home type thing turning and the light turning on, making it seem like the presence of M3GAN might not be still physical, but it's still in the artificial world. Now, overall, I found this film very enjoyable. I thought it was a fun experience in which the whole cinema seemed like they enjoyed just because of the amount of laughter and people leaving talking about it. There were some really cool themes that were explored throughout the film, and I feel like they could have been explored a bit more. Potentially, the relationship between Gemma and Katie could have been explored a lot more, because there was this relationship that was building slowly when they found out M3GAN, and once M3GAN came in, this kind of relationship snapped and it just went downhill until the very end. This was a very interesting part, as M3GAN was kind of this disruption in the family, and that was kind of a good way of showing that. But it'd be nice to have kind of like seen this relationship. There's also the theme of loss, as as Katie loses both her parents, but she also loses M3GAN throughout the film, and we kind of see a more distraught reaction from losing M3GAN to when she lost her family. This is a nice indication of how sometimes maybe technology is sometimes more important in kids' lives, and how this loss of technology may be important. I don't know, but it's a very interesting theme of exploring this kind of loss, and how even Katie dealt with the loss of her parents while living with Gemma. She kind of found it hard to deal with at the start, and there's a nice scene where she's in bed just all quiet, and then Gemma can hear her crying about this, and it's a nice bit of emotion that's shown by Katie. Now, overall, I think a lot of people are analysing this film too serious. I think this is a film that you don't go into with a serious mindset, because it's just a fun, enjoyable film, and that's why I've given this film 3 stars out of 5, because I found it enjoyable and I found it a fun watch. I just feel like it could have had a bit more intense, scary moments, more jump scares, or explored more these kind of moments that just didn't make sense. Blumhouse and Jason Blum have already announced that the sequel to this film, M3GAN 2.0, will release in 2024-2025 kind of time, which does get me excited. I am intrigued to see what route they go down with this. They've got a lot of like open space to work with, and I'm very excited to see what the future holds. Well, this has been Top Hat Films. I appreciate you all for watching. If you could please leave a like and potentially check out my socials on Twitter, Top Hat Films, and on Instagram, also Top Hat Films, where I post film news and anything to do with my film ratings that I don't upload to the channel. I appreciate you all for watching again, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.